Hello guys, and welcome to another Red Life Studio episode. Please subscribe and give me a like, and share my videos if you're enjoying them. Also, feel free to leave me a comment below. Now let's begin with today's stories.
My girlfriend cheated on me, we broke up, and now we're back together struggling. I'm in a complicated situation and could use some advice. About 3 years ago, my longtime girlfriend of 10 years cheated on me. I didn't find out until after she broke up with me and left me for her affair partner. It was a devastating blow. Here's where things get even more complicated. During our breakup, we were still seeing each other, but she was also seeing the person she cheated on me with. It was like a situationship that lasted for a year. However, we eventually rekindled our relationship and have been together for a year now. Although our relationship is a lot better than before and we genuinely love each other, I still struggle with the pain from her affair. It's not as intense as it used to be, and I don't think about it as often, but it still lingers. I have so many unanswered questions that probably don't need answers, yet they haunt me. Sometimes, late at night, I find myself lying in bed, wondering what they may have done together and if she's still capable of cheating again. It's a constant battle with my trust issues, even though our relationship has improved significantly. I would appreciate any advice or thoughts on how to overcome these lingering doubts and build trust again. Has anyone else been in a similar situation? How did you handle it? Any insights or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. TLDR, my girlfriend cheated on me for a year and a half, we broke up, and then got back together. Our relationship is much better now, but I still struggle with trust and thoughts about the affair. Looking for advice on how to overcome these doubts and build trust again. Story 2. Cheated on 2 weeks before engagement. Yes, we planned our engagement, both in mid-30s, and we're supposed to take a beach vacation in 2 weeks to do the proposal and celebrate our life. But before our engagement trip, my boyfriend had a guy's trip planned out of the country with everyone growing up, getting married, having kids. They wanted to do one last fun trip as it might be one of the final times their entire group is available together. I actually thought it was cute, and I know all of his friends very well, all trustworthy good people, and I never thought twice about him going. To make a very long and devastating story short, I found out he cheated on me that week with multiple women. Some were tourists who he just happened to meet and take home, and others he paid for as it's easily available in that country. Confronted him and he said he intentionally did it and even had every intention of doing it prior to the trip. Said he needed to get it out of his system before settling down. He has been distraught ever since, begging me to take him back and laying around our house crying, saying he regrets it so much. I'm very calm typing this now as I've had time to process, but I am a mess. I was 2 weeks away from getting engaged and starting my life. I'm in my mid-30s, so this is my last opportunity for kids, and now I'm being forced to start over at 34. And now I'm supposed to stay with someone who has so little respect for me that he is willing to cheat on me with other women and prostitutes? In front of our mutual friends? How silly will I look now if I stay with him? All the happiness and joy has been killed from our life together. I wouldn't be happy to receive a ring from him. I was robbed of my proposal, engagement, and most importantly our future together. No idea what to do now. My family is expecting a ring in 2 weeks, but I've already canceled flights and hotels for our engagement trip. I can't even look at him, I'm so disgusted. I know everyone will tell me I dodged a bullet and all that, but I am so crushed right now. This isn't fair. Story 3. Marriage was strained and then she cheated, kind of. Here's the story. A few months ago my wife and I started having very heavy discussions about our relationship and futures together. After I started therapy 8 months ago, I realized that I was carrying a lot of baggage from our relationship, particularly in the ways she, 26F, has treated me, 27M, throughout our relationship. Of course, every relationship has its tensions, but for the most part, I've been an incredible partner to her. I really have been. I'm not just saying that. She wholeheartedly agrees with that and acknowledges and has apologized for the shitty ways she's treated me throughout our relationship. Anyways, a few months back, I brought this to light. I started expressing how I have been hurt by our relationship and I'm not sure what to do with that hurt. In all the conversations, she asked if I wanted to stay together because of all of this. My answer at that time was, I think so, but I need some time to process the ways you've treated me before I can answer firmly. I've now had 2 therapists that have confirmed this was the right decision for me to make, given that in the past, our relationship has been a lot of her pushing me to do things I'm not ready for and a lot of me people pleasing in order for her to not break up with me or end our marriage. While I was hesitant in dealing with the hurt of the past 5 years of our marriage, my wife's response was, I love you, I'm sorry I hurt you, but it's all in the past, and I want to make our marriage work moving forward. 3 days later, we come to the cheating, kind of. Definitely can be labeled as so. My wife felt very blindsided by my response. Up until that moment, her life was perfect. She's gotten everything she wanted out of our relationship and has left me with the pain of how she treated me along the way. She kind of just forgot. Nevertheless, she felt hurt, and during a weekend out of town with a friend, let a guy buy her drinks at a bar for an entire evening, and then ended up making out with him at the bar for a prolonged period of time. The kicker is, one of our best friends, 27F, was with her and actually encouraged her to do this, because naturally, I'm the asshole for calling my wife out for the shit ways she's treated me. It didn't stop there. My wife then left the bar at 2 a.m. and somehow called the guy, or he called her. Somehow he got her number during the evening. She then invited him to her Airbnb where they made out on the couch for some unknown amount of time. Outside of that, it's pretty vague to me, although she swears she didn't sleep with him. My wife told me 24 hours after she got home. So I appreciate her honestly, but also, she definitely trickle-truthed me. She told me, okay, something happened, somebody kissed me. And it took me 2 to 4 days of question asking to actually get the full picture from there. Even weeks later, I was still filling in the gaps. The whole evening, the making out, the flirting, inviting him to her Airbnb and making out more, all of that came out from my question asking. I don't know what to do at this point. We have 2 young kids, she's a stay-at-home mom, I run a business and support our family in that way. We're in marriage counseling now. She is owning her shit. But there's a part of me that can't get over the fact that she looked me in the eyes and said the hurt is in the past and I want to make our marriage work better moving forward, and then 3 days later, essentially cheated on me. What now? Edit to add, she says they didn't have sex. While this seems sketchy since she was drunk and already did a fair share, there were 2 other people that came over with him from the bar, and her lifelong friend was there in the Airbnb as well, perhaps in another room. So it was something of a group environment, she wasn't alone. But she did have her own room at the Airbnb. Edit to add, lifelong friend of my wife is 27F. She has also been a good friend of mine for 8 years. Her husband was my best man. She encouraged my wife to cheat on me and egged her on throughout the evening to start and continue going with the guy. Obviously, my wife's actions are my wife's own responsibility. But having a friend do this instead of putting a limit on my wife's drinks or telling her to slow down and think about what she was doing adds another layer of hurt. Comment 1. Listen to Lose a Cheater Gain a Life and visit Chump Lady's site for additional references. Aslo insist on her getting an STI exam and no contact or sleeping in the same room. You need the space to process all of this. Most important, trust your gut. You didn't post today because she made out with a stranger in a bar and then followed it up by inviting him over, all the while her BFF encouraged it. So you have multiple things going against you here towards any kind of healing, much less reconciliation. You had a moment of clarity that you're living in an emotionally abusive relationship and she gaslighted you and then executed her betrayal. The next question, is this the first time, and how are you holding her accountable? Insert immediately the 180 and gray rock methods and speak with a lawyer. Keep her busy with insisting on a full written details timeline of events and everything that happened, and when she's ready to give it to you, insist that she read it out loud and that you are going to record it, and that BFF need to go and see she's not a friend of your marriage, so there are consequences to both of their actions. Stand your ground. It's either her BFF goes or there's no point on even considering reconciliation. From here on, do more observations. That's speaking. That's where the real intel will come in. If she doesn't want to give up her BFF, then that will save you tons of pain because you now have confirmed her priorities. Listen to the pros, chump lady, and your lawyer's advice and follow it to the letter. She is going to have to do tremendous work to change who she is, and now that you have seen who she really is, you know that for the last 5 years you have been living with a narcissist, so you might want to listen to Stop Caretaking the Borderline and Narcissist by Margalis Fjellstad or Stop Walking on Eggshells 3rd edition to be mentally ready for the shitstorm she's about to unveil on you when you have her served. If you must cohabitate until the divorce is finalized, have video cameras all over the house and always record any conversations with her to avoid the DV or SA charges she's going to come up with, and most importantly, do keep why you divorcing quietly. Tell both sides of the family. You need to own the narrative before she paints you out to be the bad guy. Plenty of posts here about the 1800 WWs have pulled all because the BP disclosed everything too soon and didn't do the diligence prior to serving the WP, split financials, get copies and move all important documents to safe place or trusted confidant, have all your ducks in a row and a solid exit plan laid out to be ready just in case. There's no going back from this. If you take her back, she's going to think less of you and her betrayals are going to be more devastating, so take this lucky break while you have it and you will be happy for it in the long run. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.